Welcome back, man. Episode 74 of BrickShots with Billy Antonio. We got a special guest in the building, Mad Chris. What's happening, Chris? Good to see you, man.
What's up?
Long time no talk, man. Good to have you on the show. One of our, if not the most famous commenter on our YouTube. One of the most famous commenters. You feeling good?
Most famous commenters like being the nicest guy in prison doesn't mean much, but I'm doing all right.
No, but you're the guy that everybody remembers because you were the nicest guy in prison. I feel you on that, though. Tonio, how you living, dude?
What the?
All right, Christian, how you living?
Well, since Helen Keller's struggling up there,
Not Helen Keller.
I'm good. Waiting to get back some good news from interview recently, but other than that,
Did Toyota not email you yet? You probably didn't get it. They didn't email you.
No, I ain't got it yet. So waiting for that to come, huh?
You calling them, being like, "Hey, what the fuck?"
Yeah, and they were here, it's a process, so I'm just going with that BS.
I feel you.
Other than that, I'm just ready for this college football to start up. We got about
33 days.
33 days. We got NFL about to kick off preseason, so
it's the last month without football.
I'm in a great mood. I'm ready to go.
Well, preseason NFL isn't really.
No, but it's football.
As big of a football fan as I am, like I don't watch XFL, I don't watch USFL.
I don't either. So I just don't even bother.
I don't feel like watching minor league sports.
Yeah, Tonio, what about you, man? Are you excited for the preseason?
I didn't hear anything because you started the show before I was ready. So you have too much control. I wasn't even done talking about the setup of the show, and you just, all right, well, fuck it, let's go. So I don't know what the fuck was said.
I got two people to back me up. I said, is everybody ready?
Did I say anything?
To be fair, I think Christian was the only one that said anything.
I assume the silence meant everybody was good.
Assuming when you ask a question and nobody answers, no headlines, no nothing is not an answer. But
why not say no?
I didn't say shit because you started it before. Like as soon as I looked up, I'm working on my shit, and you just like
on the 30-second countdown, you could have the whole time been like, "Hey, stop," because I don't even hit record with the 30-second countdown. I could have just stopped it.
How? When you put the countdown on, it mutes everyone.
No, it doesn't.
You know yes, it does. Yes. Yes, it does.
Hey, so I did just now.
What did Craig say about Willie and Uncle Elroy? Y'all argue too much. Y'all should get married.
Maybe in a different life.
I just watched the Friday movies like 2 weeks ago too. Introduced Jessica to him for the first time. All three of them.
How did she like them?
She enjoyed them.
Which one she liked the best?
I don't know. Probably was the third one. I think was the one Cat Williams was in.
Yeah. Which one you like the best?
Probably that one. The Pinky scene is the best scene in any of them, but I think for the whole movie, I got to go the third one.
Yeah.
You almost made me spill this
on
the $200 suit.
You hit that boy with the fucked up one.
Hey, we're canceled. I don't care. That's funny.
Hey, we just regular people.
Hey,
you ain't got no gun, but where the weed at?
But the second funniest scene is a scene that people don't think about, bro, a lot. But it's when they in the back of that truck, when Craig and Smokey in the back of the truck after they got getting shot at, and then Smokey just like, mama, yeah, I want my mama. Her fat ass ain't gonna do nothing for you.
Yeah. It took me a couple watches to probably see that, pick up on that, but yeah that shit.
Bro, the first one's my favorite one because it's like every time I watch it, I notice something different about it. Like every time, like the first few times I watched it, when she calling Craig and spazzing on him, I never noticed there was dude in the bed with her just sleep. Like he just
right.
I'm just like, you got, first of all, this dude in his work clothes. So y'all obviously live together and you go with Craig. It's crazy, bro. It's a lot of hidden gems in the first one to me. Especially since it's like a deluxe version of the first one. So the deluxe version show like Megan Good them running through Stanley's yard and he spraying with the water hose. That's funny. Like Ezel stealing early in the morning.
That was Megan Good in the first one?
Yeah.
At the ice cream truck.
You got him.
I hate him.
Yeah.
She's so fucking young in there. I ain't even recognize her.
So
I thought it was some fine shit.
Well, yeah. But
I mean, Megan, she applies, but I didn't think it was her.
But no, so I saw Next Friday first as a kid. I didn't know there was another Friday until I was like a little older. So Next Friday always has a nice place in my heart forever.
That was the first one I seen.
Raise your hand up when you're talking to me and Tyrone fuck me.
Hey, what about dude? He got behind them essays in the yard. He said made his own noise. What the fuck? Who makes noise when they hit somebody?
Oh, that dude was funny and shit too. He was like looking at people like that shit. It was funny.
That's so funny, bro. But yeah, the first one, bro, because like my favorite scene in the first one is when they extend Pop saying just random foods because like on the ones you see on USA, he only say like 3 foods. The deluxe, he say like ham hocks, pig feet, chitlins, collard green, bro.
Yeah, but dinner.
You talking about when he was trying to eat the cereal?
And I love it, man. That bro, you're my boy, and I love you. But hey,
shout out to Pops.
But the whole time his mama was in there cooking that big ass breakfast, and he go sit down and be like, "She's like, oh, I ain't make shit for you. This for me."
Yeah.
What that damn meat she was cooking? No vegetable. I mean fruits, nothing. No pancakes.
I mean, she had meat. That's all you need.
Yeah, you right.
Meat and eggs. That's it.
Hold the eggs on my plate.
Shit.
You're not an egg guy, Christian?
Can't stand them. I don't want them scrambled, sunny side, over easy, none of them.
Well, so that's the worst breakfast steak I've ever heard. Let's go into the worst fan bases that we acknowledge on this show. Tony, you got one in mind?
I do, but because I want Chris to be, like one of those guests that we get on more than once. I gotta let Chris go first, and then I'll go after Chris.
I mean, for me, it's easy. To me, the worst fan base in all of sports is a toss-up between the Yankees, and then I hate to say it because I'm a Texan and I'm born and raised in the Dallas area, but I got to go the Cowboys. It's you got 2 franchises that just got a ton of titles and no success in the last 25, 30 years, really, and anytime you talk to them, they just bring up the past. They don't want to talk about problems that their team's got now, whether it's Jerry Jones as owner or whether it's Brian Cashman as GM, just signing overpaid, overpriced, old-ass players that can't produce anymore. So it's just, for me, I got to go them 2. If you want to give like another like a second place, it got to be Philly teams in general. The Philly teams are just obnoxious as shit.
Just bad. Winning that Super Bowl did not help either.
Yeah. I mean, when you got to put fucking oil on the goddamn lamppost so your fans don't climb the shit and tear up the city, that tells you about all you need to know.
See, and I like that. I'm glad I let him go first because I was going to go on a Cowboys tangent. I am also on the Cowboys train, but I'm going to go a step further and go at a few of our fans. Shout out to Mitch, Frank, and Gerke. Did I miss somebody?
No.
Notre Dame has to have some of the worst fucking fans in college football. Every year for some weird reason, I guess because they Christians or they believe in the Lord over there, so you can't really disrespect the Lord.
They're Catholics.
Same thing. They same Jesus, I think. Same somebody.
Close
Somebody's the
enough.
same. Yeah. Shout out to God.
Respect. No, for real.
Every year, hey, let's put Notre Dame in the top 10 for them to go and just beat Army, Navy, Millsaps in Mississippi, Texas Southern, somebody teams like that, and then make it to the college playoffs and just get fucking pummeled. Like they got beat so bad one year. Manti Te'o's girlfriend disappeared. It was it's so I'm really every year I have to do this with Mitch. Mitch say fuck me every show. Hey bro, stop talking about Notre Dame. I'm never gonna stop talking about Notre Dame. Hey, Ole Miss sucks, all of that. I get you, I get it, Mitch. We might not have the records that y'all have, but we also don't play the teams that you play. If Ole Miss could play Army, Temple, shit like that every year, Division III colleges and still make it somehow FBS standings and shit. This would be.
Well, they played Georgia. They had that like 3-year tear where they played Georgia before Georgia had Kirby Smart, and they were like in some close games with Georgia. So they were like, we could beat the SEC and shit.
Yeah, that's the same time where they was like, we're gonna beat Alabama in the national championship. Fake girlfriend came out. So like I said, it's Notre Dame for me. Not to stay on the subject too long, it's Notre Dame for me. Christian, who you got? Michigan?
No, I got I'm gonna give y'all 4 quick ones. I didn't like that shot, but I'm not going to entertain it either. So I would go New York Knicks. They just like living off the past, and
that's good.
What past?
They don't do shit. NFL, I'm gonna go Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, Chris, but I'm gonna throw y'all in there. Basically for the same reasons. They just living off what they did in the 90s. It's 2023. We're almost 30 years removed.
And they love saying every year is our year. No, the fuck it's not. Sit down.
And if you feel that way, just humble yourself and don't put it out there. College football.
Real fast, sorry. Do you think if the Cowboys fans were just like, I think we have a shot this year instead
that's fine with me.
You know what I mean? Like, not this year is our year.
No, because Jerry Jones just said that dumb shit, and everybody's looking at him like, bro, you're like 90 years old. You're a hard sneeze away from blowing your fucking back out. Just don't talk no more. Like, it's been our year for the last 10 years, and we ain't done a fuck-ass thing. We barely make the playoffs just to get sent home in the first round. Shut the fuck up. We ain't done nothing.
Right. Put that target on your back. College football, I'm going to go with what Tonio said. Notre Dame as well. They just living off what they did when Rockney was there and shit. They've had good teams here and there, but they ain't playing nobody. And then they're independent, so they can handpick whoever they want to play.
Yeah.
Baseball, I'm gonna go Yankees. They just I would say just more recent, last 15 years, they ain't won a title. And they just
like 08, 09, I think was the last one.
Feel like living off the past. That's all I got for you.
Billy, we gonna wrap it up with you, man. Who you got?
So I only have 2 teams, and it's the first team is the University of Texas, the Longhorns. In football specifically.
Why the fuck do you hate just? I feel like you was a Texas fan, Billy, and they did you wrong.
No, I was an A&M fan before they moved to the SEC also. And then because I knew Bryce Petty, I was a big Baylor fan for a little bit when he was there. But Texas, it's every year Texas is back. They play an okay opener. They played Notre Dame a couple, like maybe 10, 11 years ago, and we were like, oh, look at Texas. They played really well. Texas has some of the best recruiting classes in the NCAA, not just the Big 12, but in the NCAA alone. We can sit here and we can name all of these pro players that they've had, and nothing has came to fruition from that program. You get Charlie Strong, a great defensive coordinator with Florida and Urban Meyer in them. You put him in Texas, he sucks all of a sudden. What happened? You put him in UCF. UCF is doing really good things over there in the American Conference, right? But it's like the Dallas Cowboys, what everybody said, right? With this year is our year. Texas is back. That's the thing. Where it's like,
is it a state thing? I'm just asking.
I think it's just they're the biggest brands in their respective sports, so they got the most fans, and as a result, they got the most dumbass fans.
Bingo. Exactly what Chris just said. I don't even got to say anything else about that. But my number 2 is also the New York Yankees. I think I love Christian's pick with the Knicks. I wasn't ready for us to talk about an annoying fan base in the NBA because I feel like the NBA is pretty well versed to where we have our players more.
No.
Right? But,
Yeah.
Warriors fan base is ass.
Hey, but they winning.
But they're winning, so I can exclude that. You know what I'm saying, Antonio?
I mean, that's no different than your team, New England.
Whoa.
Hey, that's
Hold on. No, hold on.
Yeah.
A lot of real Patriots fans.
Wait.
Hold on. I'm excluding Antonio real fast. People from Boston are very aware of the new age of what they have going on. They're very aware, like, we're not even the best team in the conference or in our division, let alone a conference, or we should win the Super Bowl. Unlike the Cowboys fans who are like, yeah, we could win the NFC, no problem.
All right. So we ain't gonna disrespect it because we got a little time. I was about to boot Christian off.
Man, you would, because we already had this conversation in the.
You already a half a star, bro.
So Chris, you are already.
Hey, I didn't see you did that, man. Take that.
Hey, hold on. So Chris hit on a good point with overpayment of the Yankees players, and if you're decently good, the Yankees are going to give you way more than you're worth. But the 27 World Series championships, what sounds like an amazing accomplishment and a crazy feat, but if we take away 9 of those, the rest of those championships were won before baseball integrated itself. So, okay, you got 12, which is still kind of a lot, which is still a fuck ton. But don't sit here on your high horse and act like, oh, we won the championship in the 1920s when no one gave a fuck about anything. You have Babe Ruth, who's one of the home run kings, who didn't play against any black people whatsoever. Don't tell me the Yankees are one of the best franchises ever and all of our championships, blah, blah, blah. The Yankees, don't get me wrong, the logo, when we had our logo draft, I picked the Yankees number 1 because it's an iconic logo. But,
biggest brand in sports, probably.
But you won all your championships before black people could play. I don't give a fuck about what you're doing. Sorry, I know.
So that I like that, Bill. I like that as an opener. Also, since you cut me off, I was gonna tell you that I had some twists for your lineup because every time you put the lineup out, I feel like people be prepared for what they're gonna say. So I'm just going. I want to go to the subject that you think that me and Christian don't know nothing about. Christian does not, but I do a little bit.
Crazy. And I sent them emails too.
You need to explain this MLB topic to me. So I get it, but I don't, and I need you to get on that for me. So we don't talk about baseball first at all. But I want to.
No. And
we on the Yankees. Yeah, exactly. We on the Yankees. We might as well just transition into baseball, Billy.
So the thing that makes baseball beautiful that a lot of people are missing, like Tony, you even said, right? You like going to a baseball game because of the whole atmosphere, right?
Yes.
But if you're watching the games, it's just incredible to if you look at it from the perspective of you only if you hit the ball 3 out of 10 times, you're an amazing player. Imagine if we took that to basketball where you make 3 out of 10 shots, we think you're awesome. And that's not how it works, right?
I mean, Russell Westbrook does that, and people think he's great.
Well, that's true. But if we take an ERA of 4.13, right? That may sound like a bad ERA, but if you're playing in Texas or Colorado or one of these ballparks that give up a lot of home runs, which is going to increase your runs per average, right? It's just this amazing sport that we're watching where you think this is easy or this is hard when in all actuality it's all hard. To where I could throw you the best pitch in my fucking arsenal. I could throw you the best pitch you've seen in your last 50 pitches, right? But you can just crush that thing for a home run. And then I come back the next inning and I throw the worst pitch I've thrown in 100 innings, and that's the one that strikes you out. It's just a beautiful fucking spectrum of the way we're watching the games. And it took me watching a game to really like kind of not understand it, but kind of bring it to a point where I could explain it in that way, and that beautiful of an art the sport is in itself.
All right, so I get that. That makes sense. I'm gonna give it to you, Chris, because I know you are the baseball guy. I get
Chris
that.
has been like fantasy leagues, and he knows a bunch more shit than I do.
Yeah, I know. That's why I gave it to him. I didn't even. I was gonna look at the half a star. I was going straight to Chris and getting into this trade deadline. Now, Chris, I gotta ask you: are you team specific, or are you like just a fan of baseball? I mean, well, I know your team. All right,
yeah.
So
I love baseball in general, but I'm a
okay.
Rangers fan.
That's what I want to get at. So biggest news from you for the trade deadline. What was it?
The biggest news for me is the trade that wasn't made. It was the Angels keeping Shohei Ohtani. If you want to talk about actual trades, it was probably the Rangers getting Max Scherzer. But if I can, I want to go on the Ohtani thing for a minute.
Go ahead.
Ohtani's an expiring guy, meaning he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So the Angels weren't getting trade offers that were warranting letting go of an all-time great player. But the problem is they took that and now they're trying to compete when in actuality, the likelihood of Ohtani leaving in the offseason is very high. Yeah. He wants to stay on the West Coast, but he wants to be in the playoffs. Angels have not been good since the early 2000s. So they give up prospects to get Luke Giolito from the White Sox, and then they just made a trade today with Colorado to get Randall Grichuk and CJ Cron. So they bolstered their lineup and their pitching staff, but the problem is they're still not going to be that effective even if they do make the playoffs because their staff in general, aside from Shohei, is garbage. Their team in general, aside from Shohei and Trout, is garbage, and you're trading for two guys from Colorado who play in Coors Field. As Billy said, that's the hitting environment in Coors Field is better than any other park in the majors. You're playing at 10,000 feet. You can just throw the ball, and that's just going to go 900 feet. So getting two hitters from Colorado doesn't really impress me. Giolito hasn't been consistently good in years, and you're banking a playoff hopes and not trading Ohtani for this, like while giving up prospects on top of it. To me, the Angels set themselves back a good 5 years before they're legitimately able to compete again. If you want to talk about actual trades, like I said, Grichuk and Cron, they're two names. They went to the Angels. The Rangers got Max Scherzer for Luis Angel Acuna, who is Ronald Acuna's little brother. He looks like he's going to be a decent prospect. The Mets got him by eating up a shitload of the Scherzer deal. I think the Rangers are paying like $22 million for him over the next 2 years. We also got Jordan Montgomery from the Cardinals, who was a Yankee. He got dealt to the Cardinals at the deadline last year. He's a solid left-handed pitcher. Giants got A.J. Pollock, decent outfielder, nothing to really write home about. Cubs got Jeimer Candelario, who's been pretty solid this year, but the Cubs, again, even if they do sneak into the playoffs, probably not going to do much. The Brewers got Mark Kanya, decent first baseman. They also got Carlos Santana from the Pirates, another decent first baseman. The D-backs made a good trade today. They got Paul Sewald, who is the closer for Seattle. They've been having late inning bullpen struggles with Andrew Chafin, Scott McGuff, and then they had another guy that's just started closing games over the past couple of weeks, but they really needed to solidify that back end because they got a chance to.
Real fast, Chris. I know the Diamondbacks have the worst record of being up after the sixth inning and still losing a game. They're like
they've blown a lot. Yeah,
it's a crazy number. I can't give you the number off the top of my head, but I know that was a good trade that they needed to do. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to pass the Dodgers because they're a juggernaut of a team, but they should be able to get a wild card easily and do some things in the playoffs. The Rays got Aaron Savali today. They've had some major issues with injuries in their starting rotation. Savali's been really good for Cleveland this year.
Did the Mariners did they get rid of Hernandez?
Teoscar's still there from what I've seen.
Okay.
He was rumored to be in trade talks, but as far as I've seen, they haven't moved him. I doubt they'll make any more moves just because they are still they're in distance for the division. I'm kind of surprised to see them trade Seawald. So I don't know if they want.
Go ahead.
I don't know if they want Munoz to just be the closer and they figured they could get value out of Seawald, but it doesn't make sense to me for them to trade a late inning bullpen arm like that.
You think Cleveland gonna move Josh Bell?
I mean, Josh Bell hasn't really been producing at all. He was producing with Washington last year, and then they traded him in the Soto deal to San Diego, and he fell apart in the second half. So if they do trade him, they're going to get peanuts back for him.
And you think everybody's favorite team gonna do anything?
The Yankees?
Yeah.
Well, they were rumored to they were going to be in the hunt to get Cody Bellinger, but the Cubs have been really hot since the All-Star break, so they became buyers instead of sellers. They're keeping Bellinger and Marcus Stroman, and they're making a run for the division. So I don't think they'll be doing anything.
Contrary to Billy's belief, I seen that they've been looking for something to upgrade their outfield. You heard any rumors on who they might be looking into trying to get, or
nobody that's worth really talking about? Their issue is they got too many guys that need to be DHs. They got a bunch of guys that can't play the field worth the fuck, and they got injury issues like Rizzo and Stanton.
Give me a second, Christian, DH, designated hitter. I know you. Hey, I got you. I know you just looking like, what the fuck is that?
I'm ready.
You ready for what? We talking baseball. Oh, you ready to hit?
Right.
I did want to throw in there too, with Chris talking about the Shohei deal. Literally, we all know he's not going to be an Angel next year. So it's like you're just hoping that you make the playoffs and that keeps him around. But even if, let's say, in all hypotheticals, if the Angels make the playoffs, I don't think that's enough to keep Shohei around. He's going to go to the Dodgers where he knows he's going to win. Or because he loves the West Coast, he's been on point about that the whole time. But he's also very, very good. He's a very Derek Jeter player on the podium where I love this team. I love being here. I love the Angels, blah, 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 blah.
Derek Jeter was making the playoffs every single fucking year too.
Well, no, I'm with you. I'm just the podium-esque, the Tom Brady-esque, where it's just saying all the right fucking things. But he's out. And now, like, even though a lot of teams aren't going to give up their top prospects, you could have got some prospects that would have done something that could have helped you again in the next year, the year after, maybe even the third year, to where you're getting nothing for him because he's going to go. It doesn't even fucking matter.
And one more thing about baseball before we get off of it, Chris, I want to ask you, the Braves taking it all this year, or they just leading right now?
I think the Braves probably got the best chance out of all the teams to win the World Series. Their lineup is completely stacked, and they got a solid pitching rotation, as well as they got late inning arms too. So they're a fully complete team. They can make a run and do some damage in the playoffs for sure.
And they're not scared of the Dodgers either.
At all.
So, and last thing about baseball, we'll move on to something else because I like throwing Billy off. Appreciate it. What are your Rangers looking to do for the rest of the year?
I mean, it was nice getting starting rotation help, but I think the big problem with the Rangers is they need bullpen help badly. They're not as bad as Arizona, but once the game gets to the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, especially in the postseason where you're seeing the same team the entire time, whether it's just a 3 or 4 game sweep or it's a full 7-game series, you need the late inning arms to go because the starters are only going to pitch 1, maybe 2 games in the series. So to not have late inning arms, I mean, we got the offense to compete with anybody, but again, it's the issue in the playoffs. Like offense is going to get you through the regular season, but come the playoffs, you're not facing no 5th starters. You facing the 1 through 3, and then the 4th maybe, and then you facing the best arms in the bullpen. They're pitching every fucking game of the series if they have to. So that offense is going to go. It's going to go down a little bit come the postseason. I think I think the Rangers made good moves to stay in the divisional race, but I don't think they made the moves to really do. They may be able to get to the championship game, but making it to the World Series, I don't see it with this team.
I can talk about baseball more than Billy thinks, so I'm gonna get going. I kind of want to get some talk from Christian, Billy. So I'm gonna sprinkle in Christian's corner, man. Let's get
Yeah,
to it.
let's
Chris,
go. That's what I'm talking about.
Chris, welcome to our most random part of the show where we don't know anything
this
that's
is
going
fun
to be
though. I
asked.
like it.
Yeah, so I know you. Chris is one of for everybody who's watching. Chris is one of the best fans that we got. Every week he comments on a reel on the show, so I know he watches. So Chris, you will have the opportunity to answer first. So Christian, hit us with whatever we
Give me
start
something
with.
good then.
We all over the board. We're gonna start it off with which out of these playmakers would y'all rather have? Debo Samuel or Percy Harvin?
Oh,
Question. Are we talking about like prime or are we talking about right now?
We take them in their prime, which I feel like Debo wasn't as prime as Percy was in college, but in the league, Percy was hurt a lot. Debo's kind of exploded. So you
but if I
take
get one game with whoever,
Yeah,
Right.
that was going to be my. Is it one game or is it like over the course of a whole season?
we'll give you one game.
If I got to go Percy, if it's one game, because I don't got to worry about concussions or headaches or none of that shit. Like
Injuries.
I got to go Percy then.
I know he your friend Billy, but I'm liking Chris more and more. I am also gonna go with Percy Harvin. Kickoff. I can put you on kickoff return, and
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I can get a touchdown out of you right there. So I'm going Percy easy. I think for me.
absolutely. I'll take the whole board unless Christian fucks it up. But I'm going Percy Harvin. I get one game. Now, if you tell me I get a 2-year stretch or something like that, or even a 1-year
Oh
stretch,
yeah, it's
I'm going
Debo easy.
But a one game, give me Percy Harvin. He also, so even like, let me just throw the season, he was the leading rusher for the Seahawks at wide receiver when they won that Super Bowl. So Percy is just a beast of a fucking player, and thank God we got to actually watch him play.
Well, I guess I'm gonna fuck it up. I'm going Percy Harvin too.
There we go.
All right.
Give me Percy.
Close.
Let me ask y'all: would you rather have Brett Favre, Matt Stafford?
You want to take this one first, Tonio?
Man, I'm gonna take it. Chris, you know how I feel about Brett Favre. I can't say too much because he's suing people out here. But he took
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. So he took $3 million allegedly from my state. So I'm going. Nah, for real. Y'all know. I don't know, Chris. If you've seen, I know you've seen it, Chris. I am a big Matt Stafford supporter. I like Matt Stafford a lot. Matt Stafford is a consistent 4,000 yard a year with less interceptions. Christian, I'm gonna take Matt Stafford. Wait,
Kirk
are we
Cousins
talking
throws 4,000 yards every year too?
I mean, but
It's the modern day NFL. Like,
Chris, it's probably a hate thing for me. I ain't gonna lie. I don't like Wrangler jeans, so I was just gonna.
I'm a Levi man myself.
Exactly. So, I'm gonna go Matt Stafford. Who you got, Chris?
I'm gonna go Brett Favre on this one. I like Stafford, but to me, I want to be careful how I word this because I do think he's a really good quarterback, and I don't want Matt to be firing off at me in the comments, but he didn't win shit in Detroit, and he had arguably the best receiver of the last 15, 20 years with him that whole time. He was setting passing records, but it didn't lead to wins. What, Billy?
Okay, so not saying that you're wrong in what you just said, but the playoff games that Megatron did start, he was unbelievable. Matthew Stafford was also unbelievable. That defense just let them down in both of those games. I just want to
being
throw
a Lions fan, I'm all with Billy on that. I saw it firsthand.
it was
Billy. Christian got a few more minutes. You need to answer. Who you got?
Let's do it up. Oh, you talking to me now?
I'm talking. Yeah.
So only, and this is only because when I started watching football, I thought Brett Favre was the most exciting player. One of my first memories, I watched this game with my grandma when his dad died, and he played really well against the Raiders on Monday Night Football. Like I have that like ingrained in my brain. But I also saw Matt Stafford come back on the Cowboys every 5 seconds because Dallas was the only market I could get. And it's really hard, but I'm going Brett Favre just because I have those great memories back in the day.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Christian. Before you go, really quick, Madden '98, Brett Favre, or was it Madden '98? What was Brett Favre? He was on the cover of this. It was a Nintendo 64 game. I don't know if it was Madden. Was it Quarterbacks Club? What the fuck was he on? It was a game I had on my
because
it was game day 99.
The game day 99. Yeah. I played the fuck out of that on Nintendo 64. Brett Favre was easily the best quarterback on that. But fuck Brett Favre. You can sue me. I ain't got no money, bitch. Christian, who you got?
I'm gonna roll with
He gonna take the hometown boy, huh?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay hometown ghost. Yeah. You ask me, they about one and the same. Both turn the ball over a lot with picks, gunslingers. One just had a better surrounding cast and was able to go further.
I'm gonna say that's fair. Brett has some talent for sure.
Let's look at let's take it off the field. Let's look at coaching. You had Mike Holmgren. Like, come on, it's not like he was just out there.
Oh, if you want to throw coaching, like if you taking coaching out of it, then yeah, I would probably go with Stafford. I mean, Brett Favre ain't know what he said. He ain't know what a cover 2 was or some shit.
No, a nickel. He had no idea what a nickel defense was.
Yeah, just an extra cornerback on the field. He ain't know what it was. He just said, "Who's open? Fuck it, I'm gonna throw it to the guy over here that's covered." Like, why do we need to know what a nickel is? He's throwing it to him anyway.
That's also a good point.
Let's go basketball. Rip Hamilton, these guys in their prime. Rip Hamilton, Jason Richardson, Joe Johnson.
Chris, I'm gonna defer to you because I want you to come back.
You just want to know if I got some basketball knowledge. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Yeah, no, I was.
He got me.
Is this just in a vacuum who I think the best player is,
or
just some context?
Would you like on your team in their prime?
If I got some players around them, I would take Rip Hamilton. If I gotta say, if you just say you can pick one to start a team with, I gotta take Joe Johnson because offensively, he was fucking unstoppable in his prime.
He might take your place, man. I'm also going probably the same perspective. I'm going ISO Joe because his nickname is fucking ISO Joe. Like,
that's true, yeah.
That shit is self-explanatory. But Chris take on if it's a surrounding cast around Rip, then Rip can do what he need to do. I don't know why Jason Richardson is here. I guess for athleticism, but
I mean, if you tell me a dunk contest, give me Jay Rich, but
yeah. He called him Jay Rich. Hey, Billy, this guy has to be on more. Billy, who you got?
You know a little basketball.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. But I don't want to go around the board and do the same thing, but Tonio took my answer. He just happened to go before me. ISO Joe, that's number one. That's a crazy nickname. Number two, Melo gets regarded as one of the best scorers ever, and he did exactly what Joe Johnson's offense was, and Joe Johnson has a higher field goal percentage than him. And if we're gonna act like Melo's one of these best players ever, like why are we not throwing Joe in there just because he didn't play for the Nuggets? And
because Melo has the brand.
Yeah,
Joe doesn't have the brand.
Yeah, stay Melo. I don't care. Joe Johnson.
Hey, hold on. We see Chris and Billy getting too far ahead. We're going to have to talk about this Melo shit. I seen a breakdown about it, but that's next week. That's next week. I seen a break. Yeah, but Chris, who you got?
I'm going to go with ISO Joe. Joe Johnson was doing his thing in Atlanta. I just didn't have enough. Rip Hamilton was, man, I love Rip. Played for the hometown Pistons, but give me Joe. Give me
The
Joe.
mask too. What's crazy about Rip Hamilton? That mask is just like a legend thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like when the Undertaker had his little mask for a little bit. You know what I mean? It's just on there. Just classic.
Just to take a little sidebar for a minute, if I could.
Yes, you can.
Absolutely, Chris.
The mask reminds me. Cody Rhodes' documentary came out on Peacock today.
I
don't know if y'all seen
it. Oh,
yeah, he was talking about when he was dashing Cody Rhodes, and he got the whole inspiration from Rip Hamilton.
Oh, wow.
Mask.
I just wanted to throw
That's
that
hard.
out there.
It's
Well,
hard.
because I like it, I'm gonna just throw this in real quick. He better not beat Lesnar this weekend.
Shut up, Christian. He's bruh.
Come on, he ain't better.
You gotta finish the story, man.
Let's make it somewhat realistic. Giving this guy that quit on WWE handouts. He ain't beating Lesnar.
Handouts.
He went and started his own company and got fired from that.
How you gonna talk about somebody quitting? Brock Lesnar literally walked out the fucking company.
That's fine. He
said, "Fuck y'all, I don't want to travel no more. I'm gonna go."
Hey, we can get to that after the show.
One more because you went on your little tangent about Cody Rhodes.
I was gonna try to show some love to Ole Miss, but I guess since there's one more, I skipped them and saved them for another one.
Wow.
So last one.
Yeah, but it got to be the Ole Miss one now. So.
Oh no, we're short, so we couldn't
Yes.
do it short.
I'm upset about the Cody Rhodes steak.
Y'all give me
Ole Miss question, Christian.
Let me squeeze one more in. We gotta make it fast so I can get time. All right, Ole Miss. We're going quarterbacks. Would y'all rather have Jevin Sneed, Matt Corral, Chad Kelly?
I'm gonna skip Chris Antonio. I'm going Chad Kelly. He beat Alabama twice. Fuck you. That's where I'm going.
Go ahead, Chris. I don't know if you follow. Well, Chris doesn't even follow college football
I'm not
that hard.
familiar with college football. I don't know. I've heard of those three names, but I can't. If I saw them in public, I would just think they was some dude.
Trust me, they are.
Yeah, they are some dude. Nah, you would probably fuck with Chad Kelly.
All of them was pretty good. I say Sneed was the average guy.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I like the 2 times beating Alabama. That's probably the easiest pick, but I'm going with Matt Corral, bro. Matt. I am, bro. I'm going with Matt.
No, you know what? I'm not upset with that pick. He could have set out the Baylor game, but he didn't and got hurt. Didn't go in the first round like he should have. I'm okay. I can accept that.
I'm going Matt Corral because I feel like if he sat out that Baylor game, then Matt Corral is somebody's backup right now, maybe even competing for a starting spot. So I'm going Matt Corral. Matt Corral was slinging that bit. Like I said, man, I like Chad Kelly a lot. The partier in him and all of that, and he beat Bama twice. He did, but I'm going Matt Corral. Who you got? I don't know why Jevin Sneed is in here, but who you got, Christian?
Well, I'm gonna say I threw Sneed in because he kind of jump started, a trend at Ole Miss kind of getting successful after the Eli situation. I'm going Chad Kelly.
An easy pick. I'm with you, Christian.
I'm going Chad Kelly. He just had some swag. Kind of biased. I went and seen him play coming out of college when he was in junior college. He was.
Didn't he go to Scuba? Did he go to Scuba for a little bit?
So I seen him play my college and torched us. So yeah, I'm going.
You went to ICC, Chris? Right.
Yeah. What's that?
No, he didn't go to Scuba. I got you.
He went to East Mississippi.
Yeah, he went to East Mississippi.
And
I mean that is Scuba. That's in Scuba.
Yeah, it's in Scuba. Last question. Wrap it up. Yeah. Thomas Jones, Marshawn Lynch, or Steven Jackson?
Chris, I'm gonna let you take this one first, and then you, Billy. I got my answer. Billy already know my answer. Don't matter. Don't make a fuck.
Fuck, man.
Let me make it a little easier. throw in Sean Alexander and Fred Taylor.
That doesn't make it easier. Hold on.
I know.
No, Sean Alexander had a single season touchdown record for a minute, like 26 rushing touchdowns.
But that's just one season.
What's the context here? Then we go in the whole career, like
for until they retire from start to finish.
Oh, well, that makes it a lot easier. I'm gonna take beast mode at that point. Beast mode had the longevity that none of the other guys had. I think Sean Alexander had the greatest single season. I think Steven Jackson had the greatest peak. When he was with St. Louis in them early years, he was a big. I like playing with him on Madden 1, and then 2, I like having him on my fantasy team because he got you rushing and he got you receiving at a time when it was him, Edgerrin James, and Marshall Faulk was like the only backs from that era that could really give you both sides like that.
What so you take?
If you're talking about a whole career, I'm taking beast mode. Yeah.
Okay.
He was good in Buffalo. He was good in Seattle. Even when he came back in Oakland for a little bit, he was still good. And then he's just got like that whole Beastquake. That's one of the most famous fucking runs of all time where gave this man a baby stiff arm. Oh, what's the problem? Gave this man a baby stiff arm. Yeah. Like, come on, man. How if you're talking the whole career, how is this not beast mode?
Where the fuck is Chris been? I'm going with Chris because of Mr. Grab Your Nuts. I'm in the end zone grabbing my nuts. There's nothing you can do with me, and I'm driving around. I'm driving around the field just
in the fucking golf cart.
I'm ghost riding the whip in a fucking injury cart. I don't give a fuck about nothing. I'm going beast mode. Billy knew my answer. Billy, who you got? You can take all them other fucks. And they are great, respectfully, but.
If you take injuries out, I think Fred Taylor got a bone in the fight for sure.
So definitely. That was my pick. If you take the injuries out, it's Fred Taylor, just amazing in Jacksonville. Real fast,
but real fast, Billy, because shout out to John. But he didn't say injuries out. He said career. He literally said that.
But
you're what, Christian? Go
ahead. Because y'all know.
You said like career.
Take out everything. No injuries.
Fuck that. That shit just make it too easy then.
Right, but
you said career.
Yeah, I should have made it more clear.
So let's even if we're taking out injuries, I'm still going Fred, or even if we leave it in, I'm still going Fred Taylor. The 98-99 season where they made it when Jacksonville
they could have went undefeated, but yes, they lost that one game. Shout out to John.
Fred Taylor was just crushing it. Mark Brunell was at quarterback. Fred Taylor was there doing his own thing. Keenan McCardell was running record out of NFC. Give me Fred Taylor. Also a really nice fucking guy from all accounts. I'm going Fred Taylor.
I can't argue with that, Christian. But I'm going Steven Jackson.
Respect.
I just feel like, man, he wasn't getting the love he should have in a horrific St. Louis team. But by the time
they went to the NFC Championship game with him.
No. They still had Marshall Faulk.
No, they had Mark. No. It was the Mark Bolger year when Steven Jackson, when they lost to the Eagles, when T.O. broke his leg.
Well,
Steven Jackson had 1,300 yards that year.
1 out of 6 or 7 years.
I was just throwing that out there. I can't exactly give you. And
I'm not too sure on that either. But once he got to left and went to Atlanta, he was kind of deteriorating, and same thing in New England. So
I felt like he had 4 great years, and then everything else was just
But it's like when you compare yourself to yourself, even if you have a great year, it's not as good as your peak or whatever. Even if it's still a great year, we see that with LeBron every fucking year.
Yeah.
So, once again, Christian,
we're gonna wrap up with that.
Christian, every week you bring that shit, bro. I'm glad that you are one of my good friends because the list is exciting every week. Chris, I'm glad you got to experience that. And while we're on the topic of lists, because Billy had a plan, but I like fucking up Billy's plan. Let's go to one of the worst top 10 lists I've ever heard in my fucking life. Let's get on some NBA, man. Talk Dr. J's list. I seen somebody say, "What do you do for a doctor when he's sick?" Dr. J is sick. Let's go to Dr. J's top 10 list. If you don't know, people will tell you right now. Dr. J. Now, don't get me wrong. The list isn't bad, but the list is predated. It doesn't come past 98. So it's for the old heads in the barbershop. Check a Fred and them from barbershop.
Shit, for the
That's
most
who the
part, it
list
barely
for.
come past the 80s.
Bob
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm gonna name it off right quick for the people that was watching that didn't pay attention to the list. So I'm gonna start off with Mr. The Logo himself. He has Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, Elgin Baylor, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Karl Malone, Tiny Archibald, and the youngest person on the list is Michael Jordan. Yeah, since I started, I'm gonna give my take. This shit just reminds me, Billy. I don't know, or Chris, because both of you guys are white guys. Not saying that y'all don't watch basketball, but the barbershop. I don't know how the barbershop atmosphere is for you guys as it is for me and Christian. Because see, exactly. So I didn't know.
Nope.
Chris, let me get what I'm saying, Billy. You don't know what I'm about to say. The
I'm not-
barbershop.
Hold on. Who's the person that cut my hair when I had hair?
I cut your hair.
I know,
Billy.
Talk. That just hurts my soul.
Billy, not. I'm not talking about when you met probably your best friend ever, me. I'm saying before you wasn't getting haircuts in a black barbershop. I don't think.
In Mississippi, it was a little scarier. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and Chris just showed me he doesn't have hair just like you, Billy, but he might get his beard lined up. But I don't know if y'all was in the black barbershop like that, and I don't know. I've never been to a white barbershop, so I don't know how the white barbershop is. But I know for black barbershops, shop talk is sports, relationships, money. That's how it goes. So this reminded me of so no sports clip, not talking about sports at all. So this reminds me of that old head. This reminds me of the old head. I know everybody's seen Barbershop, the movie. This reminds me of Said the Entertainer talking to Checker Fred about back in my day. Matter of fact, it reminds me of Coming to America when he was like, Rocky Moxie Island. He Joe Louis was 142 years old when he fought. You remember that? That's what it reminds me of. Like people still trying to get him. People trying to get him to be like to justify it since he was old as fuck, but still go to. That's what it reminds me of with this list. Like I said, for past if you were living in 1998 right now, this list is golden. All right, this list is probably the best list you can come up with, aside for putting himself on there. And it's kind of missing Isaiah Thomas, that's kind of weird to me.
He don't got Larry Legend on there either.
He does.
Does he?
Hey, I didn't.
Larry's not on here.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, so this list is a little bad actually. How do y'all feel about it? I think it's terrible. From one of the legends that he Dr. fucking J, but like, so I can't say he don't know ball because he one of the pioneers, but I think that's where the problem lies is the pioneers don't know how to respect the new way, or not even I don't know if it's respect is the word. I don't know. Chris, how you feel about it? I'm going to you every time. How you feel about it?
I think the main thing, the point you made about the old heads not respecting the new generation, I think if you give props to the new generation, you, in a way, not directly, but in an indirect way, you saying that they better than your generation. So to put people from the 2000s and onward onto this list, you got to bump off the people that you played against, which indirectly is going to say that you ain't play against as good competition necessarily.
So
but
he's
for me,
kind of back himself,
I think it's part of that, yeah. And I think a lot of times the older players that sat there and they had to go through commercial flights with regular people on the plane with them and shit, they didn't have the nutrition and the weight training and shit that the players do now. So they consider themselves tougher in a sense. They had to go through more and shit. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is tougher in a sense. They had to go through more and shit. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks now. And they think the newer players is coddled, like no hand checks You got people flopping to get to foul lines nonstop throughout the game and shit. So I think it's partially that. I think it's also they just don't respect this new generation of ball players. But for me, I mean, you got a top 10 list, and you leaving off Jordan Jr. and Kobe. You don't got Shaq on here, one of the most dominant players, if not the most dominant player in the history of the sport. You leaving off Larry Bird, who was in your era, and he was 1 and 2 with him and Magic at the time that he played. And then, of course, like the one glaring omission is the guy that gets talked about as the GOAT. How you not gonna have GOAT James on here?
NBA's leading scorer. He got to find a spot in the top 10. Got to.
Even if you don't think he number 1, like he ain't number 10?
Right.
How the fuck is he not at least number 10 on the list?
Dr. J, go watch your old.
I don't.
Would
It don't look like he got Hakeem on here either. Like,
Yeah,
how is Hakeem? I don't know.
It's a weird list, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro, because
it's
like,
a bias list, for sure.
Yeah, but was these the dudes that he really played checkers with? Billy, what's going on, bro?
So I'm looking at it, and y'all said all the right things. Those players, if you said a 98, that's your top 10. It's like, oh, that's the fucking top 10 right there. Yeah, absolutely.
No,
right?
but it's not though.
No.
It's not. Okay.
Saying it's still the right list, but it makes way more sense if you take away 20 years of the league. It makes more sense.
But now I gotta argue with you, Billy, because Chris just put people on the list that it don't make sense. Like I'm not taking Tiny Archibald over the Dream. I'm not.
So real
I'm
fast.
not.
All disclaimers aside, I have no idea who the fuck Tiny Archibald is. No clue who that is.
Exactly, bro.
All right. So that's the one. Like obviously, like not having LeBron James on there, sure. But number one, who the fuck am I to tell Dr. J who the best players in the NBA are? Right?
I can tell you somebody with some damn sense. That's who you are.
Christian, what? I mean, because don't get me wrong. All right, from Oscar Robertson, that's the old Mr. Triple Double, right? Yeah,
right.
Makes
Elgin
sense.
Baylor, great. He has a statue.
He does have a statue, but
the logo.
Elgin Baylor, nope. Tiny Archibald, nope. I get Karl Malone. He's a weirdo. He's a fucking weirdo. We don't support him, America. He's a fucking weirdo. But he's also number 3 on the all-time scoring list. I get Magic Johnson. I get Kareem. They make sense together. I get Bill. I get Wilt. I get Mike. Like I said, I Tiny Archibald and Elgin Baylor over Larry Legend
or even Jerry West. Like
no, Jerry West is on the list.
No, I'm saying like I don't know if I'll put him.
I get Jerry West. Jerry West went to 8 finals.
Let me present you with something with this though. So if you just said West went to 8 finals, then where's Bill Russell? If we're going off titles,
he has
Bill Russell. Bill Russell is on his list.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I missed his name, but he's
on
the list.
Let me say this though. Somebody's got to move out because there's no way it makes sense that Shaq's not in there. LeBron, those are two guys.
Well, I'm not. Look at Chris. That's Chris's. Chris just had the list up there. Hey, Chris.
Oh, he did that.
Yeah, he did that. Hey,
we gotta add him to this.
Chris just gotta produce. Like fuck. But even I'm going before 96 players before 96 that I think that still like replaces Tiny Archibald and fucking Elgin Baylor. I'm saying them, but
so I don't
want to stick on this too long. Dr. J's list is, and because I don't think Christian got to talk. I don't think Christian got to talk at all.
Who, me?
Did you? Yeah.
No, but I wouldn't. I just was gonna say, for sure. I don't know who you want to take out, but you've got to put Shaq, LeBron, and Bird. They've got to be in your top 10.
there's a big thing going around too, and I listened to the starting lineup on NBA Radio Sirius XM, and there was a great point made by Brian Scalabrine where he was like, if you want to have a top 10 list and you exclude Kobe Bryant, and again, rest in peace to the Black Mamba, but if you want to exclude Kobe Bryant based on we saw Jordan already. So if you put Jordan in the top 10, we could leave Kobe off the top 10 and put him at 11 because it does make sense. We saw Kobe was just another manifest of Jordan.
But see, I like that because who would all these 10 guys you would say would beat Kobe one-on-one? Tiny Archibald? I don't know who he is.
No, and I'm with you, but if we have to take – so if we take off Tiny Archibald, it like LeBron James needs to be in there. I'm sorry. If we have to put LeBron over Shaq. I understand Shaq was probably the most dominant player we've ever seen in any era, whatever.
I'm taking him over all the big men except for maybe Kareem.
No, but that's what I'm saying, Christian. If you only had one more spot to give and it goes to Shaq or LeBron, you have to take LeBron.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm taking Shaq over every big man, even Kareem. I
would personally, but if somebody said they'll take Kareem, I wouldn't just argue.
I ain't mad at it, but I'm taking Shaq over especially Magic Shaq coming down the court. But let's the list is terrible. Nice. The list is terrible, but speaking of terrible things in the NBA, man, I got 5 teams for y'all, and I want y'all to tell me these are the teams that made off-season moves, but their lineups are still the worst lineups in the NBA right now. So I'm gonna just name the team, and I'm gonna tell y'all the starters. I'm gonna ask y'all how y'all feel about them. We'll run through them really quick. So the number 1 worst team, who had the worst owner in history, that probably should give you some indication of who it's going to be, is the Charlotte Hornets. The starting lineup that they have right now, projected starters, is LaMelo Ball, solid. Terry Rozier, solid 2, probably should run the 1 somewhere else. Their 3 is Gordon Hayward. Their 4 is Miles, I beat him, Bridges. And their 5 is Mark Williams.
Who?
Exactly.
That's perfect.
I just for me, they're probably gonna lose Kelly Oubre. That's probably certain. Brandon Miller, they did pick him for the number 2 pick, but finding a time to put him in the starting 5 is going to be an issue because Gordon Hayward getting paid too fucking much still. So you gotta.
He broke his leg.
It was, but he's still making the bag. So how do you start this dude over somebody you paying 30 fucking million? Like I don't get it. That's just me though. How y'all feel about it? Because I gotta remind y'all that projected starters, Miles Bridges is in there, but he's still facing a 10-game suspension for missing all of last season with the 3 counts of the felony domestic violence. So
where do you got him as a projected starter at? Because I had that roster pulled up on ESPN when I saw the topic, and it's got PJ Washington starting at the 4. As a
I got him on
roster.
Suspended.
Yeah, PJ Washington is a restricted free agent still, so he hasn't signed back with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why I don't got him on the starter. Like they picked Bridges back up already.
So
with Bridges out, they 3rd string according to ESPN depth chart on him is whoever the fuck JT Thor is.
That's
I ain't heard of like half their roster.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they have the projected worst. How do y'all feel about that? Like, y'all think, where do they go from there?
Well, looking at it, there was a reason they had the number 2 pick. They're not very good. LaMelo Ball can only do so much in the NBA. It doesn't matter how great your 1 guy is. You need a 2 and you need a number 3 guy, regardless of how you feel about quote unquote super teams or whatever. It isn't going to work with one dude. If you had just Kevin Durant, if you had just Steph Curry, it doesn't work. Your roster's still bad. Look at Cleveland with Kyrie Irving. Kyrie was doing great things. They were still the worst team in the fucking league. They got the number 1 pick. It just doesn't.
22 wins, I think, before LeBron came back.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just doesn't equate.
How you feel about it, Christian? Because I'm gonna run through these quickly.
I just feel like it's not much you can do. You just got to work with what you got. Hopefully, Bridges can get back soon. Hopefully, shit, you can sneak out a few wins.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna run down the facts, and I want y'all the next 4. Y'all just give me amount of wins y'all think they're gonna get.
There we
their
go.
Lineups. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna go from Charlotte on to my fault. Sorry, Matt. The second worst roster. Sorry, Christian's not no Pistons fan, is he?
He's a
Christian,
big
Pistons fan. The second worst roster in the league. This gives me great pleasure.
Come on, wait
What's
a
up,
second.
Matt? The Detroit Pistons projected starters. They got Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Bohan Bogdanovich, Isaiah Stewart, and Jalen Durant.
But my thing is, that's kind of 20.
Maybe 25.
So do y'all say that's a bad roster, or is young needing to be developed?
Young need to be developed.
Okay.
That's still bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that's
It's
still
bad now.
Yeah, like
It
how
might
many
be
wins
good
you
in
got
2-3
for 'em?
years.
30.
30.
that's still bad. That doesn't.
What are they trading for?
I'm just shit. They're just playing hard and getting sneaking out some wins. They got a manageable coach. He
How
can
many
get
you said, Billy?
25.
what I said
Chris-
30, and you act like that was a big difference.
20.
And Chris, you said 20.
Yep.
I'm going with Chris. I might even go under Chris and say 17.
Yeah.
I'm rounding up.
I'm gonna go to maybe them. These two are neck and neck. Detroit and Houston was neck and neck to me. Houston starting roster: Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Jabari Smith Jr., and Alperen Seguin. Yeah. Any starting 5 where you need Dylan Brooks to produce to be good.
Who's the point?
I'm Fred VanVleet.
VanVleet.
Lee running the show. Who they got the 2?
Jalen Green.
Jalen
Did you
Green.
not hear what the fuck I just said?
I'm gonna go. I think it's gonna be a surprise. I'm going 35.
I'm also thinking they're a surprise at 41. I think Fred VanVleet doesn't get enough credit for how good he is. Dylan Brooks, I think he's a bitch, but that doesn't. I don't think it takes away from his skill. He didn't show up in the playoffs, but he is a good regular season player. I think 41. The way the Rockets are going to be coached up, I think.
And Jalen Green, a talent.
I think Ime. You don't think Ime adds any wins to that? Come on, Tonio.
You saying Dylan Brooks is a good regular season player is what's the joke. How many you got winning, Chris?
I think 30 is what I would expect, maybe 35 on a high note. I do think Udoka is a great coach, and I don't know. I think with what they signed Van Vliet and Brooks to, they should win like 45 with how they paying them. But I think realistically, they're looking at 30, 35 if they had a good season. Jalen Green looked like he's going to be a nice player, but they don't really have a 2.
Right.
I'm going 27. Ime gonna be in them strip clubs and with whoever he wants to. Now that Nia Long done dropped him, he not gonna be focused on basketball. All that Houston ass gonna be in his face and at them
Now, he like
games
to
on the
marry
side.
women, though.
Exactly.
He ain't
So-
trying to get none of them at a titty bar.
They be married.
Well, my
So
boy,
you know,
Damon say, I don't want to dance with none of these hoes.
Shit.
Where-
The number,
Not the bitches, huh, Christian? See,
Right. I like
So, speaking of Fred Van Vliet, going from his new team to his former team, Toronto Raptors, they projected starters: Dennis Schroeder, OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, and Jacob Patel. Now, what makes this one bad is because two of these people on their starting five are still like being seeked to be trade pieces. In Pascal being a backup for Miami if they can't land Dame, and OG Anunoby to be somebody's to be a wing player for somebody else.
who
OG
they hired
Anunoby.
as the head coach.
You said what now?
Who they hired as the head coach?
Fuck. Sorry, John.
It wasn't none of the big names, was it?
Chris is
It
about
was
to
the dude from the Bucks, wasn't it?
Budenholzer.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh,
But
no, the assistant, black assistant.
It say
I
here
can't remember.
Darko Rajakovic,
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck
That's a
that
black
is.
guy.
former Grizzlies assistant.
Oh no, that ain't who I'm thinking of.
Either way,
Oh,
this
the guy
lineup
I'm
is
thinking of went to the Bucks. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
this lineup is terrible. They don't really have a scorer at all.
Nope.
Like,
Siakam, I guess.
yeah, but
15 again.
So I'll just go ahead. This is going to be the worst team in the NBA this year. Is the Toronto Raptors.
I think so.
if they don't lose any of the players on their starting five, I don't think they're gonna be the worst because their defense is gonna be really nice. They just can't put points
That's
up.
what I'm saying. With those two pieces, Tonio, I do think they get traded, and Toronto's the worst team in the league.
All right, bet. So how many games?
20,
What you got, Chris?
if that.
As the roster currently stands, because that was the first team you threw out that I didn't have on my list of 5. As the roster stands, I think they're a 30 to 35 win team, but if they lose them pieces, then yeah, they probably down 15 to 20. Somewhere
What
in
you
that
got,
range.
Christian?
I'm going the same, 15 to 20.
I'm gonna go with 21 wins. It's just I don't know. This Dame trade is lingering too long, which is making everybody else in the NBA scared to make whatever moves they're gonna make. So that's what's going with it. And I'm gonna go with the last one on my list. I wonder which one I had different from you, Chris. I'm going with the Washington Wizards. They have Tyus Jones, Jordan Poole, Corey Kispert, Kyle Kuzma, and Daniel Gafford. Now, don't get me wrong. Their backcourt, I like Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones would be a starter in anywhere else other than Memphis. I mean, hell, when Ja got in trouble, he was a starter and they were winning fucking games. Tyus Jones is a good point. Jordan Poole, even though he takes 30 shots, he averages 20. And Kyle Kuzma, same thing. They're gonna shoot. They're gonna have a lot of offense, but their IQ is gonna be 10, and all of their 10 is coming from I fuck with Chris. All of their 10 is coming from Tyus Jones alone. Nobody is intelligent on that team, or not like they idiots, but I'm talking about basketball wise. Jordan Poole probably cost the Warriors a game against the Lakers for thinking he was Steph when he had Steph on the floor with him, shooting a 30-footer. He make it cool, but you're not the highest percentage shooter of that shot on your team. You never take that when there's a higher percent, 2 higher percentage shooters on your team. So I think it's just gonna be It's gonna be they're gonna like I said, man, they're gonna shock a lot of teams. They're gonna beat some teams because they're gonna be hot. Like they can score. They're gonna score, and some teams gonna be off, but I think they're gonna have probably a 32 win season. I might be being generous.
So I've done pretty well since we've had this podcast of picking teams to be better than we think. I had the Bulls 2 years ago. I had the Kings last year. And this year, the Wizards get into the playoffs at the 6th or the 7th seed. I got them winning 45 games.
Oh,
What the fuck are you drinking over there?
Tonio?
Whatever it is, pass that shit.
Hey, Tonio, correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not gonna correct you because I'm gonna go with it because we got we still gotta get to our favorite thing. So
No, that's true. But just correct me if I'm wrong. I called the Bulls.
You did.
And I called the Kings.
You did.
All right.
And this is where your streak ends. How many you got? Who you got, Chris? How many you got? I mean,
Oh, I'm gonna go 35-40. I got them as I think they're gonna be offensively pretty good, and that's gonna help get them over make it out of some tough games.
what you got, Chris, to end it off?
this was the 14 that I had on my list that you shared, and I mean, I kind of echo the sentiments of everybody else. I think they got the offensive firepower. I just think they're, as you put it, stupid. I think they're gonna fuck themselves out of a lot of games. So I think they're gonna be between 25 and 30. I think they could if they hit their potential. I can see why Billy likes them because they got young talent that they could break out. But realistically, is Jordan Poole gonna break out? He got to pull his head out of his ass first, and that ain't happening. He couldn't do it with veterans around him. He kept running his mouth, and Draymond shut him the fuck up.
That's true.
So, like, how is he gonna do that on a team surrounded with young kids? I
And maybe
don't see it with Washington.
What was that?
Maybe
None of them will check him, so he'll be able to get away with that shit over there.
Kuz might slap him.
I don't think Kuz got that. He just
Kuz might slap him, man. Anybody bold enough to wear that big, long ass, pink, ugly ass sweater and sweater?
sweater.
Yeah, I couldn't. I've been drinking. But to end out NBA real quick, Dame got a memo sent to him and his agent about his allegedly his agent was telling people, hey, don't look at trading for Dame. It's Miami or it's nothing. And the league was like, hey, fuck that. If any of these people can make the trade, they can make the trade. So Dame had to come out and his agent had to come out and deny that that's what he would say. He just said that he would like to play for Miami, but that he would contractually fulfill if God damn he's on it. Man, he is on it. I like Chris a lot. Billy, you're fired. But how we feel about that, man? I feel like I like it, but at the same time, damn, the NBA, they be on people's ass, bro. Like, sheesh, like, bro, let me get to the team I want to play for. You said what now?
Something the NFL needs to do.
Christian just beat me to my point when we were going to go to the NFL. I was going to say something, and I'll still save it. But the Dame thing, it's always so intriguing because what are you going to do? He can say whatever the fuck he wants. David Stern, rest in peace to him, also denied the Chris Paul trade to LA. The league has more power than we think, and we're just acting like Dame can just do whatever he wants because we love Dame and we love what he did. We love the fucking goodbye to OKC. We love all that, but we forget the league is more powerful than the players, regardless of how much the NBA is a fucking players' league. Dame can say whatever the fuck he wants, but his punk ass can get shipped to Indiana, and there ain't shit he can do about it.
Right. And you ain't no punk, Dame.
My thing is, don't ask for a trade and then be like, well, I really meant send me to Miami. Like, no,
I
you
got-
requested a trade.
Real quick, because we gotta get to the meat and potatoes. Was Chris Paul the superstar that Dame is at the time that he asked for the trade?
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. I think we
All right.
think
I don't.
no, hold on. Hindsight is stopping us from remembering what Chris Paul was in New Orleans. We're acting
I'm not.
like
I know what he was in New Orleans, but
Fucking Tyson Chandler was getting to the Western Conference Final. Yeah, and if you want to throw in what's his name, Mo.
you said Western Conference Finals.
yeah, when he was with the Suns.
No.
The Sun, you mean the Hornets?
No,
The
no.
Hornets got to the Western Conference Final, Chris.
No, he was talking about with Tyson Chandler.
Yeah.
That was with Phoenix when Phoenix was
No,
Amari Stoudemire in them.
No, I'm
Chris
talking
Paul wasn't
about
with that squad, was it? That was Nash, wasn't it?
It was Nash, Tyson Chandler, and Amari Stoudemire. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're talking about
Christian,
CP3, aren't we?
yeah,
Yeah.
he is. Christian just talking out his ass because
look at
I
him.
don't think
Tyson Chandler played with the Hornets. Like,
they didn't get to the. They didn't get to no Western Conference Finals.
if I'm mistaken, it was the Western Conference Finals. They went deep.
You're mistaken.
No, because Chris Paul
I'm-
never got to the Western Conference Finals until he was with the Clippers.
Okay, so they wasn't Western Conference. They was going deep in the playoffs.
I thought you were talking about Tyson Chandler.
I
with
mean,
the Suns before.
No, I was
deep-
thinking him with the Hornets, but
Deep,
I thought it was
deep in the playoffs would have been the Western Conference Finals. So that's all right. Hey,
that's
we all
what
can't be winners.
players fuck up.
Players fuck up.
Nope.
Sorry,
I'm
John.
not gonna let them have it, Billy.
Oh,
Speaking.
Why'd you watch my shirt?
Speaking of players fucking up, Jonathan Taylor saying Indy is fucking up and he's trying to get up out of there.
Here we go.
How we feel about that, Billy? Since you shook your head so hard, Billy hates
Dude.
everything not Baltimore.
I'm with Billy spot on this, I think, though.
Dude, we have to stop. We just let whoever look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying players don't deserve to try to get out of some of the bad situations they're in. But dude, you can't fucking
Let me say it for you, because you want to say it. Shut
Go ahead.
the fuck up and play football.
If you're Jonathan Taylor, you've had one good season, and you should have probably won the MVP if we're being for real, right? You could have, no problem, no doubt. Other than that, what have you done but be injured and be a pretty good running back? Number one, no one cares about running backs. I've said this on this show. Your production doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything. The Colts, with Jonathan Taylor having that MVP season, what did they do? They went to the playoffs, got fucking bounced in the first round by the Ravens. Okay, that's my only Ravens plug. I swear to God. The next year, Jonathan Taylor gets hurt. What happens to the Colts? They're only one game away from the playoffs. His production doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything. You could be the best running back ever. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't. And Jonathan Taylor's out here. I want to trade. Where the fuck do you want to go?
Right.
Where?
Buffalo.
And what is Buffalo going to give up for his ass? That
Give me Stephon Diggs. And then if you give me Stephon Diggs, you don't have shit because Josh Allen doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to except Gabe Diggs. Maybe Shakir first name Shakir.
Khalil Shakir.
Thank you. That's it. That's what you got in Buffalo.
Hey, Billy, he can't be mad because he been at training camp with Anthony Richardson and see that, hey, we drafted bad. We got Michael Vick negative 2.0 and
I don't like.
I have been saying that too.
These players just at the blink of an eye want to get traded. Like, I don't like that new age shit. I didn't get 250 carries this year. I need to get traded. Like, what's your reason for getting traded? Because it's a shitty team.
And
I don't think
you're coming
constantly
off an injury,
traded.
man.
Huh?
He's coming off an injury. Like
If anything, they should want to trade your ass. Whether you asking for a trade, but I don't know. They're just, I think, mentally soft. A lot of these players, and they just
a lot of
they
running backs.
want to win the Super Bowls. They want to go to another team. Like, the shit is hard. It's not easy. And half these Super Bowl, most of these Super Bowl teams aren't paying for expensive running back.
Nope.
How you feel about it, Chris?
I want to know where the fuck he's trying to go. Where do you want to go? You want to go to the Chargers? Oh, they got a running back that wants to get paid and wants to get the fuck out too. Where do you want to go? The Giants?
Chiefs.
They got a running back that wants to get paid and get the fuck out too. Why would the Chiefs devote any salary cap space to a running back when they had a 7th round player give them 80% of the production that a Derrick Henry gets paid for?
That's what they now
What the
understand.
fuck's the point?
Right.
Why do I need to pay you way the fuck up here to do the work that I can pay somebody pennies to do? And I'm getting most of the production. These running backs want to get paid, and I get it. You get beat the fuck up. The rules don't favor you. Your career is done realistically in 4 to 5 years. You're not going to get a mega payday.
He's not going to happen.
That's how the position works. Fullbacks don't exist no more. Where's all the hate for fullbacks? Nobody gives a fuck about them. Why do we act like we care about the running backs?
And
I care because as a running back from the Sherfield League, as probably the best running back Sherfield's ever seen. Chris, you don't know what that is. If you watch the show, you know what the Sherfield League is. All the time, I probably got 13,000 yards out there, and that's probably over.
I would say he was more of a receiver than a tailback. He was in the shotgun 98% of the time.
Well, you're sitting here on the show with us, so
I mean that's because I didn't want to take my talents any further. I want to walk. After 13,000 yards, you never know. But no, I respect running back. Billy, you know how I feel about it. You know how I feel about running backs because of where.
Say that you can't. No one is disrespecting.
You can't tell me what the fuck I can't say. Why are you doing that?
Because
Chris on the show.
I respect the running backs. That's saying we don't respect the running backs. That's not what
you don't. You just call them bitches. That was Christian. Never mind.
I ain't say nothing like that.
They're mentally soft bitches, is what
I mean they're bitches.
Hold on, Christian. You stuck up for me earlier. Yeah, they're mentally soft bitches. All of them.
Well, I say people.
Let's get you call because we're not getting paid what we've deserved. Blah 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 blah.
If that's the case, because y'all taking a beat down, the linemen need to be paid the most in the fucking league.
Hold on, real fast. Hold on.
Wait, Chris. Hold on.
Show some love.
Christian's an idiot because linemen get paid a lot.
Linemen get paid like a fuck ton. Christian.
Quarterback money.
Nobody's getting quarterback money. That don't have the impact on the game that the quarterback does.
Left tackle, guards, your centers.
Okay, hold on. Can anybody tell me the last time a big time running back deal happened and we were like, oh yeah, they're going to win the Super Bowl because they have this running back?
Sean Alexander.
And what happened? They lost to the fucking Steelers, who was paying a fucking 50,000-year-old Jerome Bettis as fast.
What happened to him the very next year? You know,
Sonny Michel.
Sonny Michel wasn't even the leading rusher on his team.
He got paid
the other day too. Speaking of the devil,
Sonny Michel was the leading rusher on our team.
So yeah, I fucked myself up, but Chris saved me. He was the leading rusher. What was he getting paid?
The best.
Nah.
With a Super Bowl ring, what the fuck do you need money for?
Your team has never paid running backs. They run 4 running backs out there every fucking game.
Chris,
5 touches each.
Chris, we pay them with wins. All right.
Exactly. So does every other Super Bowl contender.
Billy, y'all are not us. I keep having to say this. Belichick don't give a fuck about paying no. We ain't even pay Tom.
Right, he don't. Look where they at now.
Still hungry.
Shit, seemed like y'all been starving the last few years.
Hold on, real fast, Chris. Hey. So when the Cowboys had the best running back in the league, Ezekiel Elliott, and they decided to pay him all that money, what happened? Oh, he shit the bed, and then all your production comes from a 5th round guy that you're still not fucking paying.
That ain't gonna get paid either.
Wait. All right, Billy.
So Chris, you on the board? Don't pay these running backs.
Wait.
Yeah, don't pay him at all for what?
But Billy went and pulled out the Cowboys. We talking about a team. We just said they were the worst fan base in the league. They suck, Billy.
Okay, fine. What are the Titans doing with Derrick Henry's fucking deal that he has? Oh, the same
Losing.
fucking shit. They're losing. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, but that's because they overpaid Tannehill.
Tony,
The top rushers
Right or right?
last year: Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry. Stop me when I get to one that actually fucking won something.
Or a team that went to the
Nick
playoffs.
Chubb, Saquon Barkley, Miles Sanders is the only one. I can go further. Dalvin Cook,
and what did the
Justin
Eagles do with Miles
Fields.
Sanders this year?
And
Let-
They
Sanders
let his ass
You
walk.
fucking need him.
12,000.
You guys are just running back haters because you never played the
No,
position
but
like
really,
It's not hate.
It's
It's
not
if I
important.
can get okay, Tonio. Say for
I'm
example.
just talking shit, Chris. I'm just bullshitting.
All right.
I don't
oh, but
think
he'll argue us down.
Because we got a new guest. Tonio's all the nice guy right now.
I mean, okay, let me put it like this: would you go get a
shut the
cheeseburger
fuck up, Christian.
$5?
That's what
or
you
would
can
go
do.
get it for 15?
15.
Fuck you. I'm
Five-
gonna do a $2 cheeseburger.
Same
Five-
quality, same quality.
Five guys, bitch.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, Five Guys is
Make that
garbage.
damn home.
Five Guys is trash.
Trash ass burgers.
I'm going to Red Robin. Yum.
Hey,
That's
yum.
sausage.
That's
You
what I'm
go to Red Robin, huh?
dude. I worked for Red Robin for like 3 years, dude. Red Robin's awesome.
Red Robin is endless everything, and those burgers are amazing, Chris.
I couldn't tell you how many half-eaten burgers I just went ahead and ate back there. Me and the
Half-eaten.
busboy.
Have eaten from who?
Okay, so hold on. Before I do say that,
It's a white person thing, Christian. You wouldn't understand.
Oh hell no! I hope y'all not doing that.
Definitely, hey, Christian, definitely lost me.
no, so look.
Hey, off of that, I'm about to pull a bill. Y'all hold up, I gotta go throw.
Look, I heard a stand-up comedian years ago. He was like, "Would you have unprotected sex with this woman?" And if the answer is yes, why not just go ahead and eat her half-ass eaten burger from you? Dude, when I heard that, and I worked at Red Robin, when I heard that, I was like, "Yeah, that's a fucking fair point."
Was that Tracy Morgan?
I don't want to say yes and be wrong, but maybe.
I think it was Tracy Morgan.
I mean, you got a point there, but
But while we talking on running
And
backs,
it was
might
poor
as
as
well.
I couldn't. And Red Robin made you pay for the burgers. Like I wasn't about to. No,
yeah,
we
for some
might as
half-eaten
well,
outfit.
we might as
you
well
gotta
get
pay for
into
it if
this.
They make you one. You can just eat one real fast.
This Saquon getting $1 million over the franchise tag for 1 year. How y'all feel about that?
That shows you. I'm sorry to cut anybody off. That shows you that running backs know they're not fucking worth anything. He's taken literally almost the same deal. Almost, again, it is an almost. But now they could still. So they signed up for this 1 year. They could franchise him another 2 fucking times. So now that's technically, if we're technically speaking, that could be a 3-year contract he just signed because they could franchise him 2 other times instead of just taking this franchise deal this year and 1 more time, and then he could be open to the free agent market.
Dang. Oh,
Chris just told me I don't have that long of a fucking career.
Exactly. That's my point, Tonio. I could use you up technically and fucking just be like, all right, cool. Now we're done. Franchise you 2 different times.
Or I can just get my 1 million over right now. And
they
then
realize they're not gonna get a lot of money. Squeeze as much as you can, which was another million, which is more than I'm gonna make in a year. So don't leave your money on the table. Get as much as you can. And I think that's just really what they gonna settle with.
How you feel about it, Chris?
The rumor was they was off by $2 million, but it was on a long-term contract. So if he's just thinking, because if they franchise him again next year, they got to pay him. I think it was like 13 or 14 million. Chances are they're not paying him that, since Daniel Jones is sitting here stealing money at 40 million a year. But the incentives that he signed for, he basically just has to slightly improve on what he did last year in order to hit him, and he's making $1 million more than he would have made. So
and you got those incentives in front of you?
yeah,
Really?
so the base deal for the contract is basically 10.1 million, and then he can get about 300K each for 3 different incentives. That's 1,350 rushing yards, 65 catches, and 11 total touchdowns. Last year he had 1,312 rushing yards, so 38 more. He hits that incentive. He has 65 catches, a career high of over 90 in his rookie year. So realistically, he should be able to hit that. And then Daniel Jones can't throw for shit anyway, so he needs to be throwing the running back the ball on 5-yard passes. And then he just got to get 1 more touchdown. He had none receiving last year. Them all came on the ground. So he should be able to hit all of those incentives, and he basically just negotiated for $1 million more than he would have got in order to come to camp and not be an issue.
And I don't think they can afford to not give him the ball so he doesn't hit those incentives.
Who the starting receivers over there?
Sterling Shepard.
I guess Jalen Hyatt will be.
They just got Darren Waller. Jalen Hyatt.
Waller probably be the number one
Waller's
target.
a tight end. I was just throwing as a pass.
Do they still got the guy they signed from Detroit?
Oh, DJ Chark?
No, Chark went back.
He was from Jacksonville.
I'm not sure who Chark signed.
No, because he was with the Lions last year.
Either way, he'll hit the numbers.
If he doesn't get hurt.
Panthers. Chark went to the Panthers.
Panthers, that's it. Thank you. Christian.
Bryce Young looking good out there. Just want to throw that out there. You know I'm SEC every time I can. Let's get into some coaching, Billy. Sean Payton versus me and your favorite quarterback to hate versus another coach, Hackett. How you feel about this whole interaction, Chris? This dude is fucking amazing.
The shit was funny when Peyton first came out and he basically just shit all over everybody in Denver, including the GM that's still with the squad. And then he shit all over him, and then he wiped his ass with Nate Hackett. He brutalized that whole operation last year, deservedly so, because they were fucking garbage. And then you had old pretty boy Bob Sala come out. He said a whole lot of shit that didn't amount to nothing to me. He was talking about, like, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't successful, or nobody wants to be you, or some goofy shit, and you just got to keep flying higher until you choke them out from oxygen deprivation. The fuck are you talking about? I think the quote that Aaron Rodgers had was a little bit better, where he was talking about, like, it's out of line, inappropriate, embarrassing. Like, I don't know why you got to take shots and shit. And then Peyton just came out. Like, Peyton done proved his point. I think Peyton mainly did it to tell his team, like, we're not going to do what the fuck we did last year. You motherfuckers are going to play. And once he got that motivation in him, like, his response to A-Rod was just, no, we're past it. He don't got shit else to say because he don't have to. I don't think it was necessarily meant as an attack on Hackett. I think it was more meant to tell his team, like, the shit that happened last year, I'm not accepting that shit this year. Y'all going to come to play, or y'all going to be the fuck over there with New York and Nate Hackett, because y'all ain't playing in my building.
That's pretty much what I took from it.
I was about to say, I know Billy hated Hackett last year, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't you hate him? So how do you feel about this?
Well, Sean Payton did a very good job of just being like, hey, I took the question out of context. I used my Fox hat or whatever he said. But he did what he was supposed to do. He backed up, number one. If you have a quarterback in Russell Wilson who did not play nearly up to snuff last year, I think this is a good way to get this new regime behind Russell instead of saying, oh, he's washed, he's shit, whatever. Sean is saying it's all on the coach. It's his fault. Now, Sean, I think what nobody's talking about is Sean Payton is taking a lot of that on his own shoulders, saying this coach fucked up so bad that it's on me to fix whatever the fuck. And it was like Chris was saying, y'all are getting this. I'm not going to put up with this in my building. But if he doesn't make the playoffs, that puts Sean Payton in a big bad light to where it's, oh, I thought you said it was all these motherfuckers' fault. What happened? Now it's your fault.
So I like it. I think Sean just put his foot in his mouth, though. Like I said, man, I think I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the best quarterback in Colorado is Shedeur Sanders right now, not Russell Wilson. I don't think he's gonna. I think he's really good at being Sierra's husband now and doing Subway commercials, and that's about it. He might throw 2 more touchdowns than he did last year, maybe less interceptions. I don't think Russell. I just, bro, like going off that Marshawn Lynch thing, where he went and talked to Marshawn and where we looked into this fucking defense that was amazing in Seattle.
Yeah.
And I just like, and don't get me wrong, Denver does have the defense to back Russell Wilson's trash play up if they come to play. But if it's anything close to last year on the offensive side of the ball from him, that defense is gonna be on the field way too long to be good forever. So motherfuckers get tired. I don't care how in shape you're in, Billy. We had this argument last year. Chris, you probably seen the episode. Christian, you weren't here yet, but we talked about Denver having a good defense, but them being on the field for 48 out of the 60 minutes of the fucking game. The fuck, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, the best offensive player they had last year was the punter. He got the most yards on the team. The fuck am I like? The fuck am I supposed to do with that? So Sean Payton, he got it. Well respected coach. I know he got it. I like Aaron Rodgers. I didn't like Aaron Rodgers' response today, kind of begging for an apology, but I did like. We'll see y'all week 5. I like that. I ain't gonna lie. I like that shit. I don't fuck with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's. I mean, well, y'all know how I feel about him. But I like that. We'll see you week 5. I thought it should have been left there, but they kind of, he got set. He had an interview.
That's that Patriot shit, though. Of course, you would like that.
I mean,
we're on the Baltimore.
Yeah, fuck it. We don't talk, man. Bill don't even like his wife. What the fuck I'm talking for? Like, fuck it. But speaking of Bill, while we talking about the Patriot way, Billy put something in here about the GOAT argument between Patty and Tom Edward Brady. When you say somebody's middle name, then you already know what it is. I don't know why this is, but Billy, you got to explain this one to me so I can respond.
So lately, I threw it on NFL Network the other day, and it was Good Morning Football, and we were talking about, they were talking about Patrick Mahomes. Soon it's going to be us, yeah. But they were talking about how Patrick Mahomes is the best football player we've ever seen, and he's the best quarterback we've ever seen, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it just really got me thinking. Really quick
before you keep going. Should we stop calling quarterbacks best football players we ever seen?
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
Sorry. But so that's what they were talking about. And it was just, again, Patrick Mahomes is great. We're not saying he is not great. It's just the ease that we have thrown him into to just act like he is already one of the fucking top-notch talented quarterbacks we've ever seen, when he's probably top 5 already in this early, and he's just young, right? But the fact that we're just already throwing GOAT in there is absolutely bonkers to me, because
disrespectful
as fuck, because Tom Brady, because he had been to 6 Super Bowls and only won 4, we were still putting Joe Montana over him, right? And just because Patrick has had more, I guess, Super Bowl success in a percentage win way, we're acting like he's already head above heels above Tom Brady when you lucked into Andy Reid. Not saying he doesn't have the skills to back up some of this stuff, but if he gets thrown into Jacksonville, or if he got thrown into the Urban Meyer situation at insert any team, if he goes to Chicago, if he goes to Cleveland, Patrick Mahomes is not talked about in any what close to the light he's talked about in Kansas City.
I mean, hold on. Andy Reid took Donovan McNabb to like 4 straight championship games.
Well, he went to 5 total, yeah, but Donovan McNabb also had T.O. I'm not saying that's my point, though. If, let's say, Donovan McNabb won 2 Super Bowls in Philadelphia, are we acting like Donovan McNabb is the best quarterback we've ever seen?
I'm sure I wouldn't say that, but I think his argument changed for being better than what they say he is now.
No, absolutely. Donovan McNabb is going to make the Hall of Fame, and that's
I will say that GOAT thing, and it's here recent. I would say in the last decade that people throw it around too much.
Yep.
Oh, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Come on. It should be maybe 3 limited as the GOAT of whatever, their position, their sport. They throw it around too much. And I think with Mahomes, he might have more talent than – he has more talent than Brady. But, sure. I mean, he hasn't accomplished what Brady has.
But put Patrick Mahomes in a Bill Belichick system where you don't have an offensive coach like Andy Reid. Does he do what I'm like legit? Does he do what Tom Brady did?
I wouldn't argue against it.
I just wanna. I'm going with Billy. We can't act like Alex Smith was Rudy Poo in 2017. Alex Smith was eighth in total yards for a quarterback, 26 tugs, 5 picks.
What was he in San Fran before he got Andy Reid though?
Oh, with his 9 offensive coordinators and 10 head coaches, yeah.
But he got it rolling in San Francisco when Harbaugh came there and finally got the shit.
Went to 2 NFC Championship games. Yes, that's the same Alex Smith.
Because Andy led the league, Chris, in 2017 with 104.7 passer rate. So
I agree with you.
I'm not dissing. I don't fuck with Pat Mahomes people. I fuck with Pat Mahomes and his talent, but fuck his mom,
his brother and his wife,
his brother and his wife. Fuck all them. But Andy Reid just, hey bro, like Andy Reid resurrected. Michael Vick was great. You know, he was gonna be good. He had the arm strength, but Andy Reid had Mike Vick coming out first play of the game. Deshaun Jackson throwing an 88-yard fucking touchdown pass. So
But again, we breaking it down to
that wasn't Andy Reid. Was that Andy Reid?
It ain't like Brady got a BS coach.
You said what now?
I'm saying we breaking it down to the coaches. It's not like Brady had a BS.
So you're not listening though. You're not listening though. Brady did have a great coach, probably
that's what I'm saying.
Coach ever, but he had a great defensive coach. Andy Reid is an offensive minded coach. Brady ain't never had the offensive talent surrounding him.
You arguing what I'm saying. I'm saying how y'all was saying that he had Andy Reid. Well, it wasn't like Brady had a bad coach. He had a good coach too.
You're not listening. Bill Belichick is a great coach. Defensive mind.
The defensive side of the ball.
Andy Reid is an offensive minded coach.
Brady
he put offensive players around Pat to make that system run clockwork. The best player that Bill got ever around Tom Brady was I'm coming out of retirement running a 4-3 Randy Moss.
Are you minimizing how good of a coach Belichick is?
No, he's not listening. You're really. I don't know where the disconnect is with me explaining it like word for word that defensive coach and offensive coach is different because offense puts up points, defense stops points.
But what's your point for pointing that out though?
Because Pat Mahomes is in the offensive system. Tom Brady was not.
Tom Brady was the system.
Exactly.
It wasn't someone else's system. It was Tom Brady. As opposed to Patrick Mahomes is playing with Andy Reid's system.
Because I want you to stop looking confused, Christian. It's making me worried that you might be having an aneurysm.
I'm still a little confused, but go ahead.
Nah, you can't be confused.
There's no way.
With Belichick being a defensive coach who don't give a fuck about offense, and then Andy Reid being one of the greatest offensive minds we've ever seen, and offense is what he loves to do. He loves to put up points. Belichick loves to stop you from scoring.
All right.
And you gotta be trolling me right now, bro.
Dude, I'm not trolling. I mean, are you saying? But you telling me that? Are you saying if Mahomes was with Belichick, it would have been worse, or what are you saying?
I'm saying
yes, Patrick Mahomes would not be the same guy if he didn't have Andy Reid.
See, I can't agree with that because we all can agree that Mahomes.
So you think listen, Pat Mahomes will be putting up numbers with Chris Hogan, Amendola?
What superstar receivers do we got now?
My bad. Travis Kelce pretty cold.
Is dominant. I forgot. He got the same weapons Brady had. Kelsey Gronkowski.
Tyreek Hill.
Hey.
Randy Moss. confusion. This is the same shit.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and jump in here because they finna lose it up here. I don't think the argument is particularly close. I do think Brady's the GOAT before I go on. But real quick, covering the McNabb thing. McNabb was a 6-time Pro Bowler. He ain't got no other awards in the NFL aside from that. Antonio dying up there. So you look at Patrick Mahomes. He's already a 2-time All-Pro and a 2-time MVP at 27 years old. He's finna be 28. Thomas Patrick Edward Brady. Got to say all the fucking names because that's what you do when you talk about him. He got 3 All-Pros and 3 MVPs. The separator between these two, I think that everybody's going to look at is Super Bowls. Brady has 7. Mahomes has what, 3? 2?
No,
3?
he has 2. Patrick Mahomes has 2. That's not the separator. The separator is not rings. And again,
It's time?
The Jordan. No, it's not. It's the talent level around Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. So if you look at Tom Brady's talent, right? So he had Gronkowski, he had Aaron Hernandez, right? Again, so two all-time great tight ends with respect to whatever Aaron Hernandez is doing that fucker, right? Had Gronk, right? No, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to still disrespect the dead regardless of what they've done. Anyway, but you look at Patrick Mahomes, we're saying like Juju Smith-Schuster, like he was just nothing. He was great for the Steelers also before he went to the fucking Chiefs. We look at Montez
Scantling.
Valdez, thank you. Was doing okay thing. Hold on, he was doing okay things in Green Bay before he went to Kansas City. These are the players that Andy Reid is getting. The reason Kansas City's getting all these players is because Andy Reid is there with Patrick Mahomes.
So here's the question that I got. If you look at Brady, he was still winning shit before he got Moss. And then when he got Moss, his numbers exploded, but he didn't win with Randy. They didn't get a ring, right? And then he gets Welker. And Welker put up, you can shit on him all he wants because he was a white dude, no speed. You know, he had all the white adjectives, hard worker, smart on the field, you know, all this bullshit that you throw on white receivers, but he was putting up numbers. So I don't want to.
Yeah. And Edelman was a Super Bowl MVP. I'm not saying like he's playing.
I don't want to sit here and pretend like Brady was playing with bums his whole career. He had star receivers at different points. But I get what you're saying with Mahomes. Like Mahomes had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. Tyreek Hill gets traded. He still got Kelce, and he's still putting up buku numbers. Now, Kelce, he's probably got at least another good 3 years. So we're not going to see him with like a Deion Branch as his Super Bowl MVP best receiver on the team for at least another few years to make that comparison.
Tyreek Hill is doing the same shit in Miami.
Yeah.
With a very, very, very less talented quarterback than
So then what does that say about Mahomes then? If Tyreek Hill is putting up the same exact numbers.
That's showing you that Andy Reid's system is helping Patrick Mahomes with the fucking players that he's getting. That's the whole fucking point that we're talking about.
But you don't think the talent of Mahomes has anything to like? This is why I brought up McNabb. Like y'all think McNabb's a Hall of Famer?
I'm not saying zero. No, I'm not saying zero. I'm not saying it's all Andy Reid. That's not what I'm getting at. But Andy Reid did pick his guy as opposed to Belichick, who stumbled onto a Tom Brady. If you put Patrick Mahomes on Jacksonville, does Jacksonville have 2 Super Bowls? No. Do they have a Super Bowl appearance? No.
Trevor Lawrence might get him there, and I don't think he's got half the talent Mahomes has.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No, y'all are crazy. Trevor Lawrence is really fucking good, and Doug Peterson is also really good.
So somebody told you Trevor Lawrence or Pat Mahomes, you have a hard decision?
Chris is really tripping. I'm because we getting up there. But
we are getting up there in time.
Pat Mahomes never had a N'Keal Harry ever. He's never had Chad Johnson, who didn't learn the playbook, because we got Chad Johnson, but he didn't learn the playbook. So
let's be real, Chad never learned the playbook. He was just fucking throw it to me, I'm gonna be open.
Yeah, but that didn't work in New England. He never had no Kenbrell Tompkins. Christian don't even know who the fuck that is. Like,
I actually do. Do you? Besides looking up a roster,
I don't know.
I mean, the line when I asked you the other week.
he's on my team, Christian. Like, bro,
we know you don't know that team like I do.
And he's never had an Aaron Dobson ever, Christian.
Since you know Aaron Dobson, what college you go to? North Texas. Try again.
I don't give a fuck about what college you went to.
Don't try like you know more than me. Try again.
He sucked. No, I'm acting like you said some of the dumbest shit I've
but
ever
you saying
heard you say on this
now
show.
you trying to say
you saying
you don't know Kimbrough Tompkins. You don't even know who Aaron Donaldson was.
You didn't know the difference between an offensive coach and a
I know the
defensive
difference, but you're trying to point out what Brady didn't have, but you're not talking about what he did have. Okay, we got fucking Justin Ross, who was good at Clemson and sucks now for the Chiefs. Mention him. You mentioned bad players instead of the good players.
He don't fucking suck. He had a fucking back injury. He ain't even played. What the fuck you mean?
He sucks now. He can't run. He can't play. He didn't get drafted.
He hasn't been able to play.
Hey, before this goes on, dude, we have this is the longest show.
All that we can go south. Christian,
we can go toe for toe with football because I eat you up on that. If that's what you want to do.
You said some dumbass shit just now. Just accept
it. Some dumb. You naming players that sucked. Name the sorry receivers that he had in Kansas City, or was all of them Pro Bowlers?
I'm saying none of them have been as bad as the receivers that Brady's made look like some shit. None of them.
But my argument is not saying that he's better than
Brady. What receiver has Patrick Mahomes had that hasn't done anything before Kansas City or after Kansas City? They've all been great before.
Who was the other super fast receiver that he had on the other side of Tyreek Hill? Hardman, yeah.
Sammy
Watkins was all right in Buffalo.
I mean,
Watkins is really good. He just he played a weird thing with Kansas City. He got hurt 2 years in a row. Went to Baltimore, got hurt again. They got hurt.
The Patriots have had minimizing talent at receiver that Kansas City had. That Pat Mahomes had.
Tyreek Hill, Randy Moss, Kelsey.
For one season.
Who? Moss? He was there for like 4.
No. He was only there for 2. He got hurt.
Look it up. He was there for more than 2 years. Look it up. Come on, y'all. This football shit I do. Y'all not. Come on.
Chris, you
tell him how many years.
You've been wrong. It's okay.
He was there longer than 2 years. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Look it up.
Chris, you gotta hold up letters though, because I know.
Look it up.
He was there more than 2 years.
We can pick this up next week. This is exciting. But we do have to end the show. I cannot upload a video longer than 2 hours onto YouTube. I just had to throw that out. This has been an incredible show, honestly, if we're being for real. This was really great. Obviously, we're going to talk more in the group chat. Chris, we got to add you to the group chat, at least. If you're not going to be on every show, it would not hurt to have you in the group chat. Really appreciate your time. I know we've been on here for a long time. Tony and Christian need to make amends. Christian's looking something up to just come back, Tony, as soon as we end this podcast.
He was there for 3 years. I know what he's looking up because I've already looked it up.
Thank you. I know it's more than 2.
You said 4. I
said more than 2.
You said fucking 4. Even like,
bro, you said 4. You said 4.
You said 4.
I knew you said more than 2.
You said 4. You said fucking 4.
Chris.
Okay.
Either way, Christian was wrong again.
Antonio, that be you that know what to be wrong. Randy Moss had 1 good year.
Chris, he did. He was injured, but come on, 50 fucking touchdowns. Like, come on, bro. Like,
I'm looking at his stats.
Hey, Chris,
don't just mute Tony. You can't. Just mute him. You can't.
Hey, Chris. Hey, thank you for coming on the show, Chris. We've had a great show. Christian been wrong. He be wrong a lot. It's all right. We'll be back next week to argue about why he was wrong this week. Billy, what you got?
Nothing. I thought it was a great show, but we do got to end this in less than 60 seconds. So I appreciate everybody listening. Thank y'all for being here. Chris, really appreciate you coming back. I unmuted Christian again. Tonio, stop looking all crazy. Thank you, Chris.
Appreciate the invite, guys.
Absolutely. Christian, next week we're starting next week's show with this because this is great. This is what we need right here.
This is what we need. Hey, that ended. I ain't gonna say nothing. That ended.
All right, man. Appreciate y'all.